My very first thrill ever in my career was back in my Miami days. This is my first ever interview in my life on TV. By the way, I could not Photoshop this hair. This is real. Muhammad Ali, day one. Now the reason I bring this photo up, and by the way, that's his daughter, Layla Ali, he's holding, who would eventually become a heavyweight champion for women in boxing, is because 35 years later, almost 40 years later, I had a chance to revisit Ali, and I met him many times over the years, for an event for Parkinson's. And because of people, certainly not me, but people like Josh Groban, people like Reba McEntire, David Foster, and others, but mostly because of this guy. We raised $6 million in 20 minutes for Parkinson's research. And that's a big thrill for me. I want to tell you a true story that happened that very week of that first photograph you saw. I took my camera crew, I was working at the ABC affiliate in Miami, and I took my camera crew to South Beach, Florida, to an old nursing home, an old age nursing home. People were well into their 90s, some into their hundreds, with Ali. And Ali loved elderly people. He always did. He loved little kids and elderly people. So Ali had just beaten Joe Frazier to win the heavyweight champion, the Thrill in Manila, that fight. He comes full of bombast, expecting everyone to make a big deal out of him. And he goes, "I am the greatest, I'm the fastest, can nobody with me, what is my name?" No reaction. There was an elderly Jewish lady in the front saying, "Aren't you Clay?" Oh God, that's all we knew. True. So Ali's, he's shaking it off, and he's bouncing around. "I'm great, I'm so great, I'm fast." He goes in the other room. "I am," and he sees there's no one in this room except an elderly black man in a wheelchair. Man was looking straight out at a bay window, I'll never forget it. And Ali goes, "Hey, old man, what's my name?" No reaction. Ali tries again. "Hey, old man, do you know who I am?" Nothing. He looked straight ahead. I was told later this man was 98 years old. Couldn't hear, didn't see very well, hadn't much to eat, but he more or less shut it down. So Ali gets that, and there's 6 members of his entourage. They start walking away. And while he's doing that, I see this remarkable thing happen. I see this old man, like a light bulb went off in his head, take this wheelchair and turn it towards Ali. He's 98. And he speaks, first haltingly, but then with more conviction. "Hey." "What?" I said, "Hey." "Hey what?" "Hey what?" "Hey, I know who you are." "You know who I am?" "Yes, I do. I'm 98 years old, but I know the champ. I waited my whole life to meet the champ. And here I am, 98 years old. Everybody in my family did. But my dream come true because I met the champ. You can't do no bad to nothing. Everybody know that the champ is good for everybody. And something else, you are the greatest of all time." When I tell you, everybody in this room had tears in their eyes, including Ali. So Ali decides he's going to walk back to this guy. Takes a knee. "You right. I am the champ. Now I want you to tell everybody in this room, what is my name?" Old man looked up and said, "Joe Louis." Everybody in Ali's entourage ran to this old man. They started to correct him. "Hey, old man, don't you know that ain't you?" And Ali stopped. "What are you doing?" "But he said your name." "I know what he said. I could hear." "You come over here for a second." I walked towards it and I could hear this. He looked at these 6 members whose only job is to make Ali feel good. And he said this, "How dare you? How dare you contradict a corrected old man? Especially 98 years old. A man will lose all his children and his family, everybody he knew. Maybe he may not be great to you, but he's good to me. Because he tried to put food on the table for his children. Somewhere, sometime. Maybe in his whole life, the only dream he ever wanted is to meet the champ. In his mind, the only champ that ever mattered was Joe Louis. His dream came true tonight, fellas. And you know why? Then he said, because tonight, I'm Joe Louis. That was it. That was the greatest moment I can remember. I still look back at this man. He wasn't the most popular guy all the time in his career, but eventually people got it. He was standing up for his own self-dignity, and he was uplifting other people. Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of a champion is not how much money you have, how much you've accomplished, or how many friends you have. A champ's defined by how a human being uplifts another human being. That's it. Uplift somebody. Uplift somebody wherever you might be. Ali did all the time. And Arthur Ashe, who we lost a few years ago too, said, what you earn makes you a living. What you give makes you a life. And a man who preceded Arthur Ashe by some 50 years, the great George Washington Carver, said it this way: how far all of you go in life depends on your ability to be tender with the young and compassionate with the aged, tolerant of the weak, strong for those who strive. Because someday in your life, you will have been all of those things. That's what Ali stood for. He was strong, he was weak, he strove, but he uplifted people. That's why he is still the greatest